Hello, everyone. Live here. We're on multiple platforms today, and I have the most amazing guest with me. This is Sylvia Lake.
Hi.
And she is going to talk to us today about Project 2025, and she's got amazing information. And while we're doing all of this today, you can go to protectamericavote.com and learn more about it. So we're just going to give a couple seconds for people to get on. I know it's right at 5 o'clock. So why do we think that women are going to decide this election, Sylvia?
We think that women are going to decide this election because basically almost all of our freedoms are on the line.
Yep, that is true.
Everywhere, top and bottom, from owning property to our reproductive rights.
Yep.
They take one thing, they'll take them all. So, and it's already happening. Make it be known that
it
it's
is already
happening.
That is true.
Yep.
That is true, especially because we're here in the state of Florida. And I don't know if everybody knows, here in the state of Florida, we have the 6-week abortion ban here. And women don't know if they're pregnant at 6 weeks. I mean, most women, you might just miss your period for a week or two. You don't realize that you're pregnant. So it's the things that we just have to talk about. And Project 2025, yes, I know it comes out of his mouth that he, as I've got the Stop Trump sign up there, that he says what? He's not associated with it, right?
No, yeah, he totally denies, as he does so many other things. 5 minutes from now, he'll say yes to everything that they're going to take away, and then he'll turn around and deny. I mean,
Absolutely.
That's just the way it is.
Absolutely, it is. And so we're here to educate you, and if you've got any questions, I'm going to be moving over to the side, and it's all going to be more about Sylvia, and I'm going to be monitoring over on TikTok. And then if I see anything over here live on the Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, I will respond to y'all as well. But I'm super excited today. So start us off. So what is Project 2025?
Okay, so Project 2025 is a 922-page manifesto that was put together by the Heritage Foundation. And it's basically the playbook for what the Christian nationalists would like to do to America, how they see education, how they see reproductive rights, how they see freedoms as far as anywhere from transportation. There's a lot of focus basically on taking us way back, way back. So, what's happening in Georgia right now, the lack of reporting for, I believe there was a lady who just lost her life. So these issues are coming up. Lost her life, and because she could not get the abortion, I'm just going to go ahead and use the word.
Yep.
She couldn't get the care that she needed, and so here we are. And it's just now coming out, and it didn't just happen. So already the news is getting suppressed. And I just want to apologize if I run over some of my thoughts. There are so many things that are coming out every day, all the time. It's so incredibly difficult to keep up with all the facts. So basically, I created this website, protectamericavote.com, and you can get tons of different articles on there from all the way from the beginning to now. So that way, if you prefer maybe the BBC over Vox, over The Guardian, over, all of those different types of reporting, if that's what you're into, you can jump on the website and you can find different articles. So I just want to throw that out there. If I say something that may sound off or colorful, I have been completely enthralled in this. So I'm sometimes my thoughts get all crazy. So we keep holding up this brochure. So we created this brochure over at Protect America Vote. And it's really hard to get 922 pages into a little brochure. So what we did is we tried to, first of all, we got all local talent to be our models. And our photographer is a local photographer. He's absolutely fantastic. His name is Jasper Dunsan. And Jennifer Grant, one of my favorite people in the entire world, she actually did the design on this. So that's why it looks so professional, because if I would have done it, it would have not looked this good, let me tell you. So anyway, you'll notice in the brochure and that there are numbers, so you can jump to the numbers on the actual plan. And I try to focus these subjects on subjects that, you know, not everybody thinks about all the time, like our farmers. Our farmers, they're going to take all kinds of subsidies. I believe the bipartisan Republicans, bipartisan means both sides, they agreed to like over like a $1.2 trillion package for farmers. But if you read Project 2025 in these numbers under farmers, you can see they take all that from them. So it doesn't make sense that they are saying yes to packages for farmers now and then turning around and taking those rights away. So it's a contradiction. Okay, I'm just kind of blah, blah, blah.
Oh, it's all good.
Do you have a question or a thought? Or?
No. So I'm over here on the side, just monitoring all the TikToks and over here. So thinking about the different things that are included in Project 2025.
Yes.
So there's so many different ways to think about it. So
Yes.
Who here likes nature? Who really likes nature and our environment? What are they going to do to our environment with Project 2025?
Probably the most startling, in my opinion. I mean, throw a rock and you know, you can hit something that it just makes your mouth like gas. But I don't believe that our endangered species should have their rights taken away because they can't vote. And you know, they're going to completely open up the lines to have drilling on our national parks. You know, they're going to end all the subsidies for climate change, all of the, oh my God, who loves Pete Buttigieg?
I know.
I do.
Absolutely.
And he's done an absolutely fantastic job with all of his projects and transpo, but some of these cross over. So, you know, everywhere that, like the EPA, for example, they want to totally get rid of the Environmental Protection Agency.
Yes.
They want to stop the monitoring on all of the, like our gas. So they changed the parameters to where we would have to get more gas per mile, or the EPA, or I'm sorry, what's it called? Like 32 miles. You know, like you get 32 miles per the gallon now. That's what it used to be. Well, they were trying to change it so that way car makers can think smarter, not necessarily go 100% electric, but go smarter so that way we get more mileage out of our gas, right? So we use less, have a lighter footprint, basically. Yes. Well, they want to completely roll that back, and they want to make it back to 32 miles per the gallon, and it all kind of goes together. They're going to need more oil. They're going to need more resources. They're going to want to, you know, they're going to want to drill, like I said, in parks.
Yep. Drill, baby, drill, right? Like, isn't that the words that he uses?
Drill, baby, drill. So it's, and that affects nature.
Yes, it does.
That affects, you know, the other thing that this 92-page Project 2025 thing does is they want to completely undo all of the progress that we've done through the Obama administration and the Biden administration.
Yep.
So they want to take it all the way back, and they want to put everything in the state's hands. So they want to leave all, for example, the federal parks. Okay. Yep. So that's what they want to do. They want to give it all to the state, and then they want the state to go ahead, they want the state to make those decisions on what they will do individually to their parks. So we had a good example here in Florida. They wanted to put a pickleball and
a golf course
and golf courses on which state park was that?
I don't. Multiple state parks.
Multiple
state parks. They just wanted to take over. So DeSantis thought that he could slide it in and we wouldn't know. So the whistleblower who actually put the information out to the all of us, guess what happened to him? Of course he got fired because it's DeSantis, and DeSantis always fires anyone who talks badly about him. And it's funny because he lied. He said he knew nothing about it, but yet you can see that he was at the meetings, or a representative from his office was at those meetings agreeing to what they're doing. So they're going to do these things underhandedly, and we have to hold them accountable. And if We don't have anybody at the federal level. What would they do with all of our precious lands that belong to us?
Exactly.
They don't belong to the state to do what the state wants to. They belong to us as the citizens here.
Right.
Yeah.
So with most of these programs, and the parks are a great example, they want to privatize everything.
Yes.
They want to do, I don't know if you guys know, but like the prisons were privatized. So that means they were corporate basically. So DeVos is a great example of someone who champions schools being taken, they're, being put into the state hands, going on vouchers. She'll be coming back into the fold if we have this, if we lose the election. I don't even want to talk like that. So privatizing means that big corporations will be able to step in and do what they want with our lands. And I think we all know what's happening right now with the weather. It's unpredictable.
That's true.
So
we're sitting somewhere where the weather, just back in 2018, we had a Category 5 hurricane here in Bay County, and people don't want to face that. Those are the type of things we have. And here in our state of Florida, our insurance rates have skyrocketed because of that. And our governor has done nothing to help. In fact, he would rather give subsidies to all of the insurance agencies than actually help us here as the citizens of the state of Florida.
Right.
So, yeah.
So some of the different categories that I cover in the brochure, we have nature, religious freedom, Christian nationalism will be, it's going to be in everything.
Yep.
That's the best way to put it. Some of you guys probably remember in Louisiana, they decided that they were going to put the 10 Commandments in every single school. Yes. So that's just a little small taste of the big picture of how they're going to incorporate Christian nationalism into everything. Right. And that also means where they, value traditional families. So in Project 2025, I also have under LGBTQ rights and single cat lady section. It's all kind of goes together, but the Christian nationalists basically focus more on traditional families. So the mother stays at home, the father does his thing, works. If she has kids, she teaches them. I believe J.D. Vance decided that if your mother-in-law, the in-laws could stay home and take care of your kids with
ask the grandparents to do more.
Exactly.
Ask the grandparents to do
so some of the little things, like they're not going to allow LGBTQ plus to adopt, even though nobody can have an abortion, right? I don't understand that. Okay, so everyone's going to have kids, and no one's going to be able to. Not as many people will be able to adopt them. They're not going to be able to. Let's say that you are, and I grew up in foster care. Okay, I'm not going to lie. So I feel like I can the authority on this. Okay, so let's say you're in a bad way. You have a kid, and then your kid. The state takes your kid, okay? Like whatever's going on, they had to take your kid. If you don't act fast enough, if you don't get it together quick enough to satisfy what they believe, like super fast, they automatically take your kids away from you like that. So there's no, and then besides canceling Head Start and WIC, which stands for Women, Infant, Children, Head Start is like preschool, where
Head Start programs.
Right, Head Start programs. I just passed like a big Head Start school here.
You
I was like, oh my God, they're going to completely close everything down. That whole program is going to be gone, and basically, the wholesome Christian nationalists, and I don't even want to use the word wholesome. Traditional Christian nationalist family will be able to. They're going to be number one. I don't just understand what we're going to do. If that makes any sense.
It doesn't. So we're not going to be able to adopt children if you're LGBTQ, if you're a single woman.
Right.
They're going to make it so only families can adopt.
Families. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So we don't care really about the children.
No.
No, we
No.
care about forcing women to
Oh.
give birth, right?
And this was a shocker. Okay. So under Love Kids here, do you love kids?
I love kids.
I
Yes.
love kids.
Yes.
So they believe that children should be in the workplace. They literally write here, okay? They in Project 2025, they write that there are some kids who want to work in serious, hard,
Yep.
they jobs, that they are risk takers, and that all they need is permission from their parents so they can work in jobs that are not safe.
Right.
And they want to take protections away from all kids, okay? So they can work in jobs that are not good for them, if that
So
makes any sense.
When you say that, it reminds me of the pictures we saw back of like the 1930s and 40s, right? When we didn't have regulations about the children going to school and things like that. And that's really what this is going to move to, right?
Yes.
Children
yes.
are no longer going to get the education that they
Exactly.
deserve. They're going to be forced to work
Yep.
and because to help pay their bills. Because we're at the highest income inequality that we have been in 100 years here in the United States, right? And
Exactly.
so it's about forcing more workers and forcing women to give birth to more workers.
So Cherie here brings a very good topic, education.
Yep.
So education means nothing, okay? And I don't use that lightly,
It's
right?
good. It's
I don't
good.
use it lightly because I don't believe everybody is equipped to teach their kids at home,
Oh yeah, no,
right? I think teachers are amazing. They are way underpaid, right?
agreed.
They basically raise your children and they're qualified. They go through so many different programs to qualify, right?
Yeah.
So under this, they obviously they want mothers to teach children,
Mhm.
but they also want to make they want to roll back the accreditation.
Oh,
So
wow.
the laws on accredited schools, so that way fake colleges can pop up again.
You mean like the Trump school?
Exactly.
Like the Trump school? We don't
Exactly.
need the Trump school again.
Exactly. They also want taxpayers to pay for religious private schools.
Yep.
And this is an exact quote from Project 2025. Excludes intellectual sophistication, advanced degrees, or financial success as living well.
Wow.
So basically, they're saying that they don't want you to be smarter. They don't want you to make more money because they don't consider that living a good life, living well. What? And that's on page 10.
That's like
page
right at the
10
beginning
in the
of-
forward. Yes. I mean, it blows me
Yeah.
away as someone who absolutely loves school.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, so there's okay. So the
So
other,
much.
so much. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is jobs, right? So one of the big proponents of Project 2025, and I have this over here on the history section of my board back here. This is basically a little bit about the history and also where the money's coming from. I have a picture here of Peter Thiel, who was a founder of PayPal and also gave $10 million to JD Vance so he could win Ohio, so he could have a say in what I guess you guys already know that JD Vance is running for vice president with Trump, right? So
Yeah.
go figure. Over here, of course, we have Elon Musk.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Elon Musk, I believe last week, Trump said something to the effect of that he was going to have Elon Musk take control of all of the State Department, all of the jobs, the civil servants jobs.
Yeah.
And I think we know it's because the plan, and this is in the book, okay, I didn't make it up.
Nope.
The plan is to have Christian nationalists, who they've already been training,
Oh, yes.
they're going to have Christian nationalists take over civil servant bureaucratic jobs because they're not loyalists, okay? So they want loyalists to take over. And I don't know who's better to walk into a company, the United States Company of America, I don't know, to walk in and just fire everybody. Who's known for that? Who?
Donald Trump, you're fired.
And this guy.
And Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. They're a match made in heaven. I couldn't even believe it because I had already cut this face out and put this up here, and then that came up. It's easy to put a couple things together. As you guys probably know, Elon Musk was also a member, not a founding member, but he was a member of PayPal, and they kicked him out. But they're all still good friends,
Of course
obviously.
they are. Of course.
So, oh my God, what else, Sheree? Tell me. Let's talk.
So let's see here. So thinking about how everything works today, right? And thinking about our health. So here in my area, Dr. Neil Dunn is my congressman. And Dr. Dunn has voted against $35 insulin. So let's be clear here on who wants to help the American people pay less money for their health care. It's not Republicans. It is 100% Democrats. So what's Project 2025 going to do for healthcare? What's going to happen to us?
Well, forget about the Affordable Care Act.
Of course.
Forget about
of course.
the reduction.
Hold on, but you just said forget about it. But does Trump actually have a plan? What did he say in the debate that he had concepts of a plan?
Aren't we still waiting for that plan from 2016?
Exactly, because he was supposed to get rid of it then too.
Yeah,
But they
exactly.
couldn't make that happen.
So their master plan actually is to loosen all of the regulations for the
Right.
doctors that are already out there.
Yep.
What they want to do is, the military is a great example.
Yep.
Okay, so let's say the military, when a VA goes to the doctor, let's say they see 15 patients a day,
Yep.
right? Well, they don't think that that is good. They want to privatize it. They want to take the vets out of the VA. They want to completely take that out of the picture. And they want them to see 50 to 60 people a day.
Okay, how do you see 50 and 60 people a day and give good health care?
By not keeping notes. They
Wow.
want to, there's two big threads that I found when I read Project 2025. And that is, they either want to take a ton of data about random stuff, or they want to completely throw out all the data that we're already taking. And part of that data is in the medical field.
Of course.
So if you're not taking notes and your parameters are loosened, then I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the whole opioid crisis.
Yep.
And all of these states out here when the fly-by-night doctor's offices were popping up just so they could write prescriptions.
Yep.
It sounds a little bit like that. Like
It does.
it has that feeling. And of course they want to get rid of the $35,
Insulin?
insulin.
They want to make us pay more for
Yeah.
all of those
They
things.
think that's a bad thing. I don't
I
think
don't understand.
I feel really bad. It's
No.
I don't think America has a great plan for seniors, and we're just getting there, giving them a break
Yep.
on these costs. And now they want to turn around and flip it back over and make them pay more. Even for an employer, if an employer gives you insurance, what they want to do is they want to raise the rates for the insurance for your employer to have insurance to give to you, so then you have to pay more insurance.
So wouldn't that make it harder for small businesses to even operate?
Absolutely.
I mean, because as it is today, I think all of us really want small businesses to run and to help our economy. But the more type of things like that, you make it harder for them to be able to do those things. At least right now, they have some help.
Exactly.
And we don't have that type of exorbitantness, as I'm trying to get that word out.
It's a big word.
Exorbitantness. All the words I'm going to make up today. So
Yeah.
awesomeness. So I know that there's a few people watching out there. So is there any questions you have about Project 2025? Hey, Tiffany, you're right. Trump may have dementia. I like that out there. So all of the things, but the Dems already fixed health insurance. No, we were able to get the ACA or the Affordable Care Act passed, but the Republicans still made it very difficult for what we need to do. I don't think any of us here believe that you should go in debt for your health.
No.
Like, what is the number one reason for bankruptcy in the United States right now? And it is health bills. It's not you going out there and spending all the money on Temu or on Amazon. It is how much you're trying to help yourself, keep yourself healthy. And that's the worst part of all of this, right? And so it would do so many things to put it into a different type of market than we're already in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and we don't need these health. And are we not in a monopoly with all these health insurance providers as it is?
Yes.
I mean, United Healthcare, ACA, and Florida Blue. I mean,
right.
HCA, I think. I could be wrong on that, but there's not that many, and you don't have a lot of choices. So as a fun fact, so I have a friend who I'm no longer friends with, and because she voted for Donald Trump, and then she said I got extreme because I went to the Women's March. Whatever it may be. She worked for United Healthcare, and she absolutely loved that it was her decision if they got the health care they deserved. She got to decide if they were allowed to go in for mental health care and to be able to stay in for mental health care. And she would laugh about people, how she denied them. And like, that just like, why, when people, we need mental health care here. And if these insurance agencies are denying you because some person out there might have a bias, right, for the reason you're going. So her biases would be, well, they were already there 2 months ago. Do they really need it again? Mm-hmm. Yes. They wouldn't be asking for help if they didn't need it. And that's the problem with our healthcare system, right? Here where we live, you can't get into a decent healthcare provider for months. What we have somebody, it took them 6 months to get an MRI in our town. Yeah. I'm sorry, like that is the healthcare in rural America. I always say rural. Yeah, I always do that. Rural. But we only have 180-some thousand people in my county, and our health insurance, all of our doctors, there's not enough of them. And the ones that are here, we lost a ton of them after the hurricane because we had more people getting onto Medicare and Medicaid, and they don't want to handle people like that. Think about that. Doctors they can do that today. They can literally tell you, I'm not going to take Medicare or Medicare, like Medicaid or Medicare. That makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of it too. So Cherie also said something bias. Okay. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a lot of bias on whether, they're just going to completely do away with any kind of complaints that you have if somebody turns you down because of your color, because of your whether you're male or female, whether you're LGBTQ plus, all of those rights are gone. Yep. Gone. And basically they're just rolling it all back. And if you have a complaint, then you're complaining about white privilege, however you want to say it. Yep. And that's racist.
It is.
I mean,
absolutely. Sexist, racist, homophobic. I mean, it's all those things.
Yeah. And I mean, we've already seen it with the Supreme Court, taking back where they have to specify how many exactly people they have. Affirmative action. Yep. Which is so ironic considering that's how Clarence Thomas got to his Ivy League school. Go figure.
Isn't that also how Vivek Ramaswamy got into school too?
Yes.
And all, it's so funny, the people who complain about these things, who actually, the reason they got their education is because of these things.
Right.
So we haven't talked about the military yet. And so let's start here. So I am a daughter of veterans. My father served in Vietnam and my grandfather served in World War II. And when you think about the type of care my grandfather got. So my grandfather passed away in 1993. There was never a doubt that he was going to get the care he needed from the VA. They were always there to be there for him. And I'm just worried that going forward, my father's not going to be able to have what he needs or anybody else, because we know a lot of veterans here in our area, because we have Tyndall Air Force Base here, which is the Air Force Base of the future, and we're going to have a Space Force here too, apparently now. So this is a big deal. So what are they going to do to all the military?
Okay, so I'm saddened. All right.
It's hard.
So the first thing they're going to do is they want to close Homeland Security, the Department of Homeland Security. And that's where the VA is. They're under that umbrella. Wow. Okay. They want to restrict veteran first-time home buyers.
What?
Yep. They don't want them to have the kickbacks to buy property. That doesn't sound very nice.
No.
Of course, they are also reducing the health conditions to qualify for benefits.
For disability.
Yeah, for
Make
disability.
It harder to be on disability.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys know, but I think within the past, my foster dad was in Vietnam, and he's just now, within the past 3 years, finally is getting coverage for stuff that's come up from way back from Vietnam. I mean, just now in 2022, that's when he started to see some benefits. So to take it back now, and these problems are coming up for Vietnam vets, and then what? Desert Storm, and then what? Just
what are we going to do?
Yeah, exactly. So they also want to. What they're going to do is they're going to replace the jobs at the VA with Christian nationalists. So the potential. They also want to shut down the TSA, and a lot of veterans work for the TSA. Okay, so that means and there are other security jobs that vets normally get, and it basically risks 637,000 jobs. It's a lot of jobs.
Exactly.
And these are actually on page. They want to close all of these departments, and this is on page 80, 133 through 134, and 319.
So, but what that includes the Department of Education.
Yes.
So they don't want us to have a nationalized education program, which we have to admit, No Child Left Behind was not a good program, and we've been stuck with that type of scenario. We need to look at how we educate our children, because today's world is a ton different, right? Like all of y'all know, like this over here, this is my TikTok over on this side. When you hand out the smartphone today, I mean, there's different ways to learn now than there were before.
Yeah.
That we need to do. And what other departments? So the Department of Education,
the TSA, and
Department of Health and Safety,
Security.
Homeland Security. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about, like we just mentioned, DeSantis and whistleblowers? So they want to make sure that if you're a whistleblower, that you don't have protection.
Exactly.
Wow.
So they're going to get rid of that. Exactly what you said. Something further down the line is they want to get rid of the Pentagon. So that's like further down. And the first thing that they're going to do on day one is they're going to put all of these 5 departments back here under the executive branch. So the Department of Justice, the FBI, the Department of Commerce, the Federal Trade Commission, and the FCC, the Federal Communications Bureau. So they just want to take a stronghold, and they're going to remove those people that work in those jobs and put Christian nationalists.
Yeah.
These are the jobs that a lot of our veterans take when they get out of the military.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And
is.
basically the reason why they want to do that is because they want to stack it with Christian nationalists, loyalists to the new president, which would be Trump. But you got to know this plan has been set.
Yep.
This plan has been, getting its momentum for 30 or 40 years, and they're just now really trying to push it through, obviously.
Right, because this is their third rendition, right? They had other ones, like mandate to leadership was another one, and we know that people took from that and put in there. So everybody that's new coming in right now, we are talking about Project 2025, and Sylvia here is with Protect America Vote, and you can go to protectamericavote.com and get any of this information, okay? Because you need to be informed. I know Trump says that he's not associated with it, but how many people work at the Heritage Foundation that used to work for Trump? It's like over 100.
140.
It's a lot of.
It's have a hand in making Project 2025.
Yes, and so honestly, he can say that. But even the guy who runs the Heritage Foundation has said Donald Trump has to say this, but we know because I've had a discussion with him. So that's actually out there, that video of him saying all of that.
Yeah.
So I understand you might want to think that Trump believe what Trump says, but I think at this point we have to admit Trump just says whatever he wants, right? Just like he said that the Haitians were eating dogs. And we now know, J.D. Vance said it on Sunday morning TV, that he made that up. So what words come out of their mouth, you can't believe at this point. I don't trust somebody who says something and then admits they lied, because they wanted the attention. And that's really what's going on there. So, but Project 2025, if there's any questions, I know there's quite a few people over here on TikTok now. Is there any questions about Project 2025 that y'all have? Trump is old. Yes, he is. He also is in cognitive decline.
Yes.
If you've noticed, he can't enunciate his words. Now, I get it. Some of us have a hard time saying some words, like me in rural America, because I always want to say royal, but like that's me, and I know it's my tongue tiedness. But you go out there and you watch him speak and watch how he tries to explain things. He is all over the place. He has no, I don't even know if he's reading from a teleprompter most of the time. I mean, because he's not making any sense whatsoever. So
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like he acts that way. So that way, when the hammer comes down and he has to stand before a judge and gets sentenced, that they go light on him because he's, not all there. I don't know. Because sometimes he seems really with it. It's tricky.
Yeah.
But he's also a special person. So
that is
I'll
true.
just say that. I don't want to call anybody back.
No, we don't make names up for people. We call them by Trump. We say the facts. That's the way. But Trump has to make up names because that's what bullies and narcissists do, right? So back to Project 2025. Let's talk about women. I know we kind of mentioned it, but because we live here in the state of Florida, where a lot of our rights have already been stripped down because of Roe v. Wade being overturned. So when you think that Donald Trump is not going to hurt women's bodily autonomy, all y'all have to know is that he already did, right? By getting those 3 judges who lied on the stand, who said they would not overturn Roe v. Wade because it was settled law. And what did they do? They overturned it. So we are at this point that what's going to happen if Project 2025 takes hold for women?
Across the board,
the whole nation,
all reproductive rights are gone,
right?
Because again, it'll be King Trump, and he's going to go ahead and cash his chips in, and he's going to go ahead and make good for the Federal Society. So for those of you guys who don't know, the 3 Supreme Court justices that she's talking about are all members of the Federal Society. So is Ron DeSantis, so is Ted Cruz, so is Josh Hawley, so is Amy Coney Barrett.
Any lawyer out there,
yep. Not any, but
all those lawyers.
Yes, exactly. The Supreme Court 6, the SCOTUS 6, they are all members.
Yes.
So Barry Side is the billionaire who has funded the creation of the Federal Society through Leonard Leo, and he has put in $1.3 billion in of his own money to make it happen. No, is it 10.3?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And here we are. So they're pushing their agenda through hard force.
Yes.
And if you want a little taste of that, look at Florida, look at Georgia, look at Texas. Look, I mean, it's literally in our face how reproductive rights have completely been thrown out the window for women. And they've even gone to court back and forth, over a dozen women with real life stories. Oh my God, I almost died, and it doesn't matter. Right. It doesn't matter. It's sad. It's very sad. Yeah. The other thing they're going to do is do away with the abortion pill. They believe, and it's written in there, that that is just, a gift, a death gift that we get in the mail or something, because they say that people are getting these pills in the mail.
Right.
All of the equal rights, it's called, the official name is called the Gender Policy Council.
Yep.
And that was created during the Biden administration. So women could basically break the glass ceiling and in their rights for work rights. And all of that is going to be completely gone. Yep. So that's a bummer.
Because they don't want women to have rights. Because that's the key,
because
right?
you're supposed to be at home making babies and raising babies and being married. I just don't know what they're going to do with all of us who are never going to, no.
They're going to they're going to force us to take care of all the babies that they're going to force all these women to give birth to, right?
I guess.
I mean, that's the thing. And that's the hard part. I mean, I know there's questions. If you've got a question on here, please go ahead and ask about Project 2025 and share what's going on right now, because we're live talking. We want to hear all of your questions. So thinking about that, they just want traditional family values. And if that's the case, and you listen to some of these men, not women, men saying these things, some of them don't even want women to have the right to vote, do they?
No.
They don't want us to even be able to vote. And so when you're voting for Trump, and I see women for Trump here on the TikTok over and over again, and I'm sure you're trolls and bots, but the fact of the matter is, any woman who wants to give up her bodily autonomy, why? Because let me tell you, that is not what God wants. God wants you to have your bodily autonomy, or he would have given you those rights. But it is the men, and it is this conservative side of things with this traditional family values that wants to take away your rights. And I don't think anybody here on this show anywhere wants to see rape victims, and I'm using the G in there so you don't block me, TikTok. We don't want to force people to give birth. Women know their own body, and it is not up to you or anybody else to tell a woman what to do with her body.
Yeah,
you know, not at all.
So I grew up in foster care for 14 years. My mother had 12 children, and 8 of us grew. Okay, so the majority of us grew up in foster care. I'm the second Sylvia. I'm number 8. The first one passed away. It was her firstborn.
Oh, wow.
So of the others, every single person in my family who had kids, which is all of them, who lived to be adults, their kids went into foster care. So when I had the opportunity to have kids, I said no. I personally didn't feel like I was mature enough, and that I saw by example. Yeah. And so that is way deep and nobody's business. I never thought that I would be so open about it. Right. And here we are.
Yep.
But that is one minute story. And I always thought it would be like my own. And everybody that I know has a story like that. Yep. I am not unique.
Nope.
At all. And it just, and I mean, really 13-year-olds and 10-year-olds who are molested by their family members. I don't know if I can use that word.
And being trafficked. Trafficked. Don't forget, They are trafficking these children. But it comes back down to, right, all of these good Christian families are doing this, just like the priests are doing it, right? Let's not even talk about who's actually abusing our children, right? It's not LGBTQ. We know who it is. All you need to go is look it up. So somebody on here said that we want to abort babies up to 8 months. No, let's be clear here. Nobody in this world wants to abort babies when they're born, after they're born, or if they are viable. People are only aborting babies at, say, the 8th month mark because the baby is going to die. And so should you really put a mother through having that? Again, it is not your decision on TikTok. It is not your decision on Facebook what a woman does with her body. It is up to that woman and her doctor. So if you think you should be making the decisions, start thinking about yourself first and stop worrying about what other people are doing. Because
how do you, and I'm asking, this is an open question, how do you get a man to imagine, visualize, and feel having to carry a child in your body who is already dead? Because that is what they're making women do, is carry them to term, but they're not even alive anymore. That seems very cruel. And I don't understand, I don't get it. I don't, it doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
How you can be a good person and think that, I don't get it.
Right.
And then after you have a kid, you take away your subsidies for women, infant children, which means milk and bread and eggs and cereal. And then you take away Head Start, where they can go and have a good place to, and forget about, all the lunches would be gone. The breakfast, all of that.
Right.
How do you, I don't get it.
Well, so I just had a Veterans for Trump come on here. So you understand that if he becomes president and uses Project 2025, that he doesn't care about the military the way you think, and especially not the veterans. So going back to that, what is he going to do to the military with Project 2025?
Well, they're basically going to dismantle it. They are going to. Oh, this is a hard topic.
It is.
It really is.
It is, because it's sad, because all of us, see, we believe that if you've served our country, you deserve those benefits. But some people think you don't deserve to have those benefits, or they want to make it harder for you to be on disability.
I just don't understand how or why.
Yep.
I don't get it.
It's
the only
cruelty.
thing, the only thing I can think of, and there's such a cry from the Christian nationalists in this book for children, for procreation. It just makes sense that that's why that they want to use child labor.
Yep.
Probably the way we use immigrants to, do work our fields, to build homes after emergency weather situations. It's very strange. It's like they want us to live on an island.
Yep.
And exclude everybody, which brings me to the immigration scene.
Yep.
So what they want to do with immigration is this is the very first day out, they want to get the National Guard, Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, the DEA, and then they also want to get the firearms, the tobacco, firearms,
Yep.
FTA.
Yep.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of acronyms up there and little tiny. Anyway, I'm showing my age. Okay, so what they want to do is they're going to get these groups, they're going to deputize them, and they're going to have them go out and round up all of the immigrants. So that's their master plan. And you already see what's happening in Ohio as far as, with the Haitians, and it's just terrible. It's just really terrible. So they made it easier, I believe. This is my theory. Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis with flying immigrants, getting large groups to come over. There were actually people who were catching COVID, like in Brazil. When they were over there making arrangements to have immigrants to come over and, come into our borders, like in the Rio Grande. And then they had buses and planes ready to send them to Martha's Vineyard. Those kind of things were a little bit organized, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I feel that now they have these groups, they know, well, these people are here and here. So now they're implementing their plans to create chaos and to make it look like the Haitians in Ohio are a huge problem. And from what I understand, I heard this on NPR yesterday, which is another group that they will defund. But I heard on NPR yesterday that the Haitians that are there, they work very, very hard. They work 60 hours a week, and they are extremely valuable to the community, and that they're not what's being made out to be. So if anyone, just stop. Just stop. If you think you have to be a bad person, just stop. That's not who we are in America.
It isn't. And it's so funny. So all of these people are saying we're talking about misinformation, but we're not. All you have to do is go online and you can see what we're talking about is true. But I understand you don't want to think that we might be just saying what is true. And that's the hard part, because Trump is not a friend to any of us at all. He is not about any of us. He's about Donald Trump, and it's always been about Donald Trump. So, and late-term abortions, only time there's a late-term abortion, back to the point, is when that fetus is not going to be viable. Because let me tell you, there are many reasons why that happens. And none of you online here should care what another person does with their body. You need to worry about yourselves and what you do with your body. And if we started thinking that way again, instead of trying to force our beliefs down other people's throats, and that's what Project 2025 is doing. It is trying to force Christian nationalism down all of our throats. that it's going to force us to be the way they want us to be.
Yes.
And that's not what the United States is about, right? The United States is about freedom. And here in the state of Florida, we deserve the freedom to be healthy, prosperous, and safe. And we are not right now. As women, we are not able to be healthy because we can't have the health care we deserve. We can't be prosperous because they're going to force us to give birth to a baby that we can't afford. And we can't be safe because, again, we have to worry about things going along with that. So this is just absolutely a great time to get involved if you want to out there. So I'm calling all the Democrats and independents that want to step up, say something right now, because we only have 49 days. 49 days until the election, y'all. And that is a huge deal because women will decide this election. And I really hope that more women start seeing what is going on, because I don't want my rights taken away. I want to be able to vote. I want to have my own bodily autonomy. And I don't want to leave our country where our daughters and granddaughters are getting less than what we had. I have less rights today, and you do too. Well, you were right on the cusp. So when we were born, right? Because Roe v. Wade was done. So we have less rights now than we've had our entire lives. And that is not the way things should be. And standing up and saying something, all of these bots out here, saying the Trump 2024, honestly, you can't give me a reason why you're going to vote for him. You just keep saying the things. But we can tell you why we're going to vote. I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. I'll say it that way. Why am I voting for Kamala Harris? Because she doesn't want to take away your rights. And no, we don't want to take away your guns either, but we need common sense gun laws because, y'all, guns are the problem. We've had more mass shootings here in the United States, and we're only in September, more mass shootings than the number of days in the year right now, right? We're almost to 400, I think, mass shootings. That nobody wants this. I was just at a meeting this morning with our school board and our health advisory committee, and they are so inundated with threats of people that are threatening to come and shoot up schools. Y'all, I didn't grow up like that. Did you grow up?
No.
How many of us didn't grow up with active shooter drills? I don't know if I would have been able to take that when I was in school. If I was 6 years old and you want me to learn how to hide under my desk and have a backpack that I put up that has armor in it to save me, that's what we're sending the kids to school with now. We have a mental health problem here that we have to start dealing with. And guns are part of that because yes. Back when we had the big guns like the AR-15s and we weren't allowing those, we didn't have the same type of shootings that we have today.
Yeah.
But that is the hard part of this. So, all right. So we have been on here for quite a while. And is there any questions other than saying Trump 2024? And I don't understand. What's an AR-15, an automatic rifle? Right? She does not want to defund the police. Let's be clear. Nobody has ever wanted to defund the police. Those were the words that were made up because we believe that the police should be equipped with what they need. And so, for example, if you're having a mental health crisis, should a police officer be the one trying to help you?
Okay.
They're not trained, right?
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Sylvia Lake and I'm from Austin, Texas. And I was married to a police officer for almost 10 years. I did probably 75 ride-alongs with my ex-husband, John Lake. Okay. My name is Sylvia Lake. All right. Let me tell you something. When we got in that police car, it was about him saving people from themselves. Okay. And that's basically it. There is I'll be honest, my parents were Republicans. A lot of people I know, I'm from Texas. I get that we've got to have guns. And that's how I believe it, that we have to have them. I don't believe that we have to have these crazy extreme guns, right?
Yeah. Well, they're actually war guns, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Automatic weapons were not meant to be something that we have here that we're carrying around.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if you have an intruder in your house, I grew up. So when I was 6 years old, we were living in Virginia Beach. My dad again was in the Navy, and we were living in Virginia Beach. And I remember he wasn't there; he was out somewhere. He wasn't home. And my mom and I remember her pulling me into her bedroom and pulling out the shotgun because somebody had broken into our house. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe in protecting your property and protecting your person. And so if you want, okay, AR-15s are automatic. Really? Wow. Okay. That was a fun one. So like, those are the things, like, people don't want to take away the guns. They're not trying to defund the police. We just want the police to be able to have what they need. It's not about putting more people and incarcerating more people, but yet somehow that's what we've made it.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part.
When I was back in the day when I was married, my ex-husband was one of the very first people who was assigned an AR-15, and he had to go through all this special training because of the bank robberies in Dallas, Texas, where they had special bullets that were able to go through the police officer's armor. So he literally every night he would roll his gun, high powered gun, into the house and then roll it back out to go to work on his days. It was different, but it was necessary at the time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that every single person should have one of those in the U.S. Like it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't.
And nobody should have. I mean, there's just no reason by any means that we should have done that. But it's where we are right now as a country, and so we have to find ways. So other countries right now, let's be clear, are we not a laughing stock? Like, honestly, because other countries don't allow the things that we do, right? And so it's just one of those things that we're not. Yeah.
There's just so many things that happen in America that we think are normal. I have a friend in Australia who was just beside himself over the fact that we don't get to vote on our days off, like on a weekend. And I'm like, well, sometimes people work 7 days a week, like, when is that day off in America? But we should have a national holiday for voting.
I love it. So we've got this wonderful lady that says she's Hispanic. Her name is Taylor. She's Hispanic and she's a woman, and you're voting for Trump. Why are you voting for Trump? You want your bodily autonomy taken away? Tell us, Taylor, why are you voting for Trump? Come on, Taylor. Trump 2024, why are you voting for him? You're a woman and Hispanic and you're voting for him. Verified to continue. Exactly. All right. So
we can't speak for Taylor.
Yeah, I don't see Taylor coming in. So, honestly, I understand if you have been brainwashed by Donald Trump all of these years. I get it. We're at almost a decade of his lies.
Yeah.
And it's hard to want to not think he's true. So, and Democrats are not baby killers, please. It's a fetus. It's an embryo, and then it's a fetus. So let's be clear. I know science is hard sometimes, but let's be clear on that. So, some of Kamala's policies. Go ahead.
Just so we're clear here, I don't think that I need a bunch of people to run out and turn over their Republican cards and be Democrats.
Yep. Right.
Or independents or libertarians. What I'm saying is that, yes, maybe you don't want the Pentagon to be active. Maybe you don't want the Board of Education to be a real thing. But that's not the point, because if one of these things comes true for you under Project 2025, that means everything becomes true.
Yep.
Okay? So I don't want you guys to turn in your cards. Mm-hmm. I want you guys to vote, because voting is literally the only way that we're going to get past this. So that way the Republican Party can have a good 4 years to regain their party back. It has been hijacked, people. Gone. Period. And I know you guys are out there. I know you hear me. Talk to people. If you need more information on how to talk about Project 2025, go to my website, protectamericavote.com, okay? Or talktosylvia.com, and you can find me, and I can send you a PDF so that way you can make copies of this yourself. I can't afford to get everybody all of the copies, but we are taking contributions.
Yep.
You can also click on these links here, go to the Wikipedia page, vote.org. I'm telling you guys, this is it. If you ever wanted to do something for America, for your country, if you've ever felt a day of appreciation in your life, you have got to start talking about Project 2025 or voting or getting people out to talk about voting. It is imperative. It is so important that we do this now. All of us.
All of us.
I love you, Republicans. I do. I love you.
I love everyone.
I do too.
We love everyone. And that's the thing. It's just, but we're also not trying to control what you do. You know, if you want to live a Christian nationalist lifestyle and you want, you know, a trad wife and you want those things, go out there and find them. But don't try to force that on the rest of us.
Yeah. So part of the group that is making this movement happen, they are the Hobby Lobby Uline family, which is Uline and Green. Okay. And they believe in something called Ziklag. All right. David stopped in the town of Ziklag, and that's how they got the idea for the name Ziklag. And the Christian nationalists that they want to put into these jobs, they're called Ziklaggers.
Yep.
Well, their main focus about Ziklag is they believe that prophets and gods walk on earth, and that Trump is that prophet. Okay,
please.
That's why they let him get away with all these things, because they've decided, the people with the money have decided, he's our Messiah.
Yep.
No, he's not.
He's not.
But the main thing is, even if Trump were to find himself on the wrong side of a balcony tomorrow, who can say this is still in motion and it's still going to happen?
Yep.
I'm just saying, okay, they're all working together at this point. So I don't want to be.
Somebody said nobody thinks he's the Messiah. I'm sorry. So let's be clear. I was with 3 very MAGA women here in my county, in Bay County, who prayed over me that I would understand the greatness of Donald J. Trump. They absolutely put him up on this pedestal. He is an adulterer, right? He cheated on his wives. He's got 34 felonies. He's gone bankrupt, 3 to 6 times. He is not a good businessman. I mean, and he wants to take away, well, he's going to do as Project 2025 asks him to do. And I know y'all are saying he has said he's not part of it, but he is. Even the Heritage Foundation will tell you. He's just lying to you.
They use his name over and over in the book.
Yep, they do.
And Clarence Thomas, okay, the Supreme Court Justice.
Yep.
And they reference the Twitter files from Elon Musk after he bought Twitter. They did the Twitter files, which turned out to be all debunked. They literally write as the date of publication, the Twitter files, blah, blah, blah. They literally refer to it in their technology section.
Well, and then they've also done something. So like you said, how many people do they want to install their national list?
200,000.
200,000. So there is training videos.
Oh yeah.
They have a whole set of training videos that they've already created. Have you seen some of those?
No. I haven't. And let me tell you something. When you visit my website and when you check out my literature, I do have the page numbers that you can refer to from the actual book, but you can't jump to from any of my sites of my information,
because we don't want them.
I'll be honest. They have millions and millions and millions of dollars that they're sinking into this.
Yep.
And it's slick and it's nice and it feels good, and you read it and you're like, oh. And to be honest, I don't want anybody to be indoctrinated by reading it.
No.
So I do recommend the Wikipedia page. It's pretty cut and dry. And I link to articles, from all different types of journalists and all kinds of different news sources from all over. The Military Times, I use their information for my information as backup. So I'm just trying to get the information out to as many people as quickly as possible, because literally we have 49 days.
Exactly. And so I appreciate everybody being on here. So Taylor came back and said that she didn't like his policies, or she liked his policies, Trump's policies, so that's why he was voting for him. And I'm like, what policies?
Yeah,
like literally, what policies? Real women vote
Project
for Trump.
2025
I'm sorry,
policies?
real women want their own bodily autonomy, and they have no desire to vote for Trump.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like all of these people, they're all trolls. Like you can tell they have no pictures, like usernames, all of those things. And it's funny because it's not a lot of real people. And all right, well, we haven't lost it. All right, Becca, what haven't you lost? We haven't lost anything. We're trying to keep our rights. We have lost our rights. I have less rights today than I had with the day I was born. That's the truth. So, all right. Any questions out there? I don't have any comments over here. Is there any here on TikTok? We've got almost 100 people on here with us.
Oh, great.
We had over 100 at one point. We have 85 right now. Yes, you have been brainwashed by Donald Trump. That is a great thing that you have there.
Speaking of brainwashing.
Yeah.
So one of the leaders over here on this side is Clarence Thomas's wife, Jenny Thomas.
Oh, yes, she is.
So she was in a cult in the 80s. It was a business cult.
What was it called?
Oh, I don't remember the name.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I don't want to drive traffic because they're still alive and kicking. I was reading up on them the other day.
No.
But and you can Google it. But she's in it. She's in a documentary and she talks about like all the things she went through. Well, what happens is she got out of it, which was great. But then she ended up going into an organization that ended up having their own type of and they've been sued right and left for this, but they would snatch people and then they were forceful, so she got wrapped into the Heritage Foundation, which is another kind of culty thing.
Yeah.
And she's always saying that that she doesn't that they keep their mindsets separate, but then as you can see over here, the values from Christian nationalism is all over everything that almost every single case that Clarence Thomas works on.
Of course she is.
I mean, so what?
Well,
like,
and isn't he a big fat liar too? Because he took all of those money from his friends and never said.
Harlan Crow.
That's
this guy right here.
That's that guy up there, right?
Yeah, Harlan Crow.
I mean, these are the things like I Supreme Court justices are not above the law, y'all. But somehow we've allowed that to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a flaw that we have to fix 100%.
Yep.
But it's all connected. Connected. Like if you're wondering why Elon Musk is so interested in Trump's new BFF, well, he's under a bunch of scrutiny and lawsuits over labor decisions. So of course, what you think they want to get rid of is the labor board.
Right. Well, and now that he said what he said about Harris and Biden, the thing is, he has a huge security clearance, and Elon Musk knows a lot of things that most of us will never understand. And I thank y'all over there with all of the absolutely Harris 2024. Follow me on TikTok. Every day we're going live. Good stuff. I can bring Sylvia back, and we talk about Project 2025 again. I just want y'all to be educated and understanding and those things. So thank you. I know some people have given some awesome gifts. Thank you today and all of the likes, but we are here to answer your questions, and we'll be here for a couple more minutes here live. So the stop sign, Trump is dangerous. Yes, Trump is dangerous. Thank you on that. So I have somebody saying things that are getting blocked already. Thank you for the blue hearts. What rights have I lost? Rights to my own body, bodily autonomy. And if we aren't careful, they don't want women to have the right to vote. So do you value having your right to vote? I do. I do. And us as women, and this is the hard part, right? 55% of women my skin color voted for this piece of shit named Trump. I'm not one of them, and most of the white women I know are not them. Because we understand what happens when you have that type of man in charge. So he's going to lose, and I'm sorry for all of y'all out there because education is the key. And thank you, Taylor Swift, for endorsing Kamala Harris. Absolutely. So where can they get more information, Sylvia, from you?
They can get more information about Project 2025 and its effects on America if it becomes implemented by the Republican Party, by the GOP. I don't want to say the whole Republican Party, the GOP, at www.project protectamericavote.com or talktosylvia.com. I'm Sylvia. Yeah, you guys, this is all real. I'm doing community facilitations to talk about Project 2025 to help other people talk about it. I probably won't be this charismatic in a library, but basically I just want to educate people so they understand what's coming down the line and how they can talk to somebody about Project 2025, because it is so real. Real and so scary.
It is. And the thing is you can pretend like it's not happening, but it is. And people are bringing up Project 47 now, the other plan. So that has parts of this in there.
Yeah, they go together.
They do. And that is how they have been set up. So yes, we've read agenda. It's the same, different flavors of this. So, all right. Well, I appreciate everyone being here, and I thank you for being here. I didn't do that at the beginning. So lots of live online. If there's any clips out there, we'll get some clips out there of us talking. And
I'll be at the Bay County Library on next Tuesday at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5:30.
Oh my God, I love it. I'm a woman and I haven't lost any rights, but you have.
You don't know it yet.
You don't realize it yet. And then they asked if we're really dudes. Really? like you gotta love the misogyny and the insults of, women against women just because,
It could be, but it's a bot.
It's true. It could be a bot. There you go. No, we have it. Yes, you have. Awesome. I love it. All right. Well, thank you all for joining. Like, share, everybody on here. I am in Bay County, Florida. My name is Sheree Krim. I believe that every person in the United States deserves the freedom to be healthy, prosperous, and safe. And those things alone, that's what we have to work towards. And it is all about inclusivity. It is not about making the government work for one side. And they are the minorities. Most people don't want their rights taken away, and we have to stand up for it. So I thank you all for joining today. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end over here first, and then I'm going to end the TikTok. But thank you all, Facebook, and